remarks. Let's bring in the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut. Congressman, thanks for being with us this morning. You were in the room. You were part of these meetings. Take us inside and help us understand the question we've been trying to answer all morning, which is that you have Republicans like Lindsey Graham and Senator Lankford over on the Senate side, not exactly liberal squishes, saying to the House, this is the best deal we're going to get. It's the best deal that's come along in a long time. Frankly, it's a little bit more friendly to the conservative side of the argument. Take the deal, Speaker Johnson. Take the deal, House Republicans. So why aren't they taking the deal?
Yeah, well, Willie, it was a remarkable hour and a half in the cabinet room with the president and with about 20 members of Congress in the Senate. And I'll tell you, for an hour and a half, everybody couldn't have agreed more. We were violently agreeing with each other on the urgency of funding Ukraine. And, by the way, I heard the president at least 2 or 3 times say, I will do a big border deal. So, I mean, I used to negotiate in the private sector. This is a deal ripe to happen. And so what is about to happen is as clear as day. The Senate is going to pass a bill, and it will be the first immigration border bill, in decades. And by the way, as Lindsey Graham said, and as Republican leader Mitch McConnell said, it is a better deal than you will get if you own the House and the Senate and the White House, the Republicans. And then one man makes a fascinating and hugely consequential decision, and that man is Speaker Johnson. Because here's why. There is a huge majority in the House for that deal. I know it. At least half of the Republicans and probably close to all of the Democrats. And so Johnson says, I can either get something done on Ukraine, which everybody, not everybody, but most people, the vast majority of people say is important. We can get a historic border deal done, or I can piss off Marjorie Taylor Greene or, the Heritage Foundation or Donald Trump, in which case I may lose my job. I don't think I've ever seen a moment working here in which the trade-off between the good, not just to the United States with a border deal, but to the world and the Western alliance hangs on the fate of one man to decide whether he is going to put all of that ahead of his own political survival.
So, Congressman, I know that National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, other top national security figures have walked through the need to support Ukraine ASAP and what would happen if the United States doesn't. Give us your fears, if you will. If this deal does fall through, if the Speaker decides he can't get this done, if he is too concerned, as you say, about hanging on to his own job, what do you think the repercussions would be in Eastern Europe and beyond?
Right. Well, the way that plays out is a week or two from now, Johnson says, well, the Democrats and the president wouldn't go far enough on immigration. And that will be him caving, and he won't say it, but that'll be him caving to Marjorie Taylor Greene and to Donald Trump and to a minority of Republican members in the House. Here's what happens next. Over time, not overnight, but over time, Putin makes progress in Ukraine. I don't know if that means that he takes the country or if he just takes a lot more of the country. President Xi in China sees that, and the lesson for President Xi is that the Americans can be counted upon to be tough for about 6 months, and then they go away. And what does he think with respect to Taiwan? Terrible lesson learned for President Xi. The Iranians, who are who are right now destabilizing the world, see a lesson in how the United States cuts and runs when things get tough. So if Speaker Johnson chooses to walk away from this with no border, no immigration deal, and nothing for Ukraine, we live in a fabulously more dangerous world, including, by the way, and I'm willing to acknowledge to Republicans that having uncontrolled flows of people into this country is a national security risk. So if Johnson chooses that path, we live in a much more dangerous world and a much more dangerous country.